Hello everybody and welcome back. New haircut, new me. I was sick last week and now I'm trying to put all that past me. Got a haircut, have my hot cocoa here, so hopefully that can ease the voice a little bit while I'm recording because it's been quite rough. But we're gonna be hopping into this draft here. Not a whole lot has changed in the top 5, but from, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 to down past 16, 17, there's been a few things changing as we kind of close out this season. We are getting to the end here of the regular season at least. We'll see some of these be finalized and see some of the draft orders shuffle as the playoffs move forward, but we'll know ultimately quite a bit about the top teams, and then we'll see if any trades and stuff move like that for the offseason. But for now, this draft order, it's still a bunch of fun past the first few picks, which I'll just breeze by. First pick, Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. I will defend this until the day I die. Justin Fields isn't good, hasn't been good. It's been the same conversation for the last 2 years when it comes to Justin Fields in terms of maybe next year, once he learns enough, he can get it done. It's not true. Justin Fields not the guy. Caleb Williams steps in and is better, either right away or probably on that same level right away, and then elevates above and beyond. At number 2, quarterback needy team goes Drake May, who might actually end up being the number 1 overall pick, but if I were to, put my bets down to be Caleb Williams until he proves his mental state is an issue and will prevent him from being taken there, I think it's not a safe bet, but I think that Caleb Williams is the more likely person / quarterback to go first, and Drake May second. Better in structure, which means like better within the pocket in the basic meaning of football. He's better getting through your reads, just making the right decisions, throwing at windows, reading coverages to get to your reads and to get to the correct spot in a zone, whatever, every stuff like that, all that. All right, now Caleb Williams is better moving out of structure, more improvisation with him, and the fact that he can throw it 70 yards on a flick of the wrist while he's rolling right and still deliver an accurate bomb. Now, that's what's enticing about him and makes him so interesting and very high upside. Cardinals, I know no one's ever seen this before. Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board, just a good player to a high team. At number 3, you're picking for perhaps franchise changing players, and that's exactly what you're getting with Marvin Harrison Jr. He's measured in so well, his size is great overall, and that makes him the prototypical receiver. But that is just the start of where the list of intangibles starts. And honestly, he's very talented, he's very athletic for his size as well. I think that's something that people start to really forget with how much of a technician he is. He can still move generally fast at his size. In fact, I came prepared today, found my Marvin Harrison Jr. notes. He is my wide receiver 1. I'll just list off some of the fun strengths. He tracks the ball so well. He is his start stop is freaky. He understands football. That's something that stood out to me watching all of his tape this year. He understands football more than I've seen anybody else in this class. I haven't done much like tape scouting beyond this year anyway, so this is my first year really diving into the tape of Marvin Harrison Jr. You could just tell he understands, like, blocking angles is something that he understands a lot, how and where to fake a DB out. It's just a lot of understanding, and you kind of watch the tape and then you realize like this guy has a deep understanding of the game and uses it to his advantage. I also wrote, if he was looked at every single play, he could average 250 yards per game. If he was the read, if he was the only receiver that you could target in a football game, I think he would be open enough to deliver an accurate throw to him. Maybe you'd throw a couple interceptions, sure, because that's just how football works. But if you targeted him every play, he could honestly average 250 plus yards a game. It's insane how much this guy's open. And like I said, if you just looked at him play after play, it's crazy. Now, one slight, very, like, these are nitpicky knocks on him. There's concentration drops every here and there, and there was 3 or 4 against Purdue when they were in weather, so he's not the best weather player. He's not a high motor blocker on the 3rd level. Like, he doesn't really always just surge up to a guy and try to take care of him. He might just ease over there, whatever it is, and then worries about what's coming during the catch process. That's the biggest one for me. He kind of just worries about stuff around him as well, trying to either avoid injury or just major contact, which is fine. I mean, that's honestly common. Now with 4, it's been the same guy, Olu Fushano. I do the same thing over again and again and again, but for fun, I switched up and went Joe Alt, who ultimately could be offensive tackle 1. I think if there's going to be any swap between Olu and Joe Alt, it would be at the combine between either bench or shuttles, whatever it is. If Joe Alt ends up higher than Olu, I think that time to flip would probably be overreaction to the combine. I think that's the only way that these two kind of flip. And let's say that happens and Joe Alt goes number 4 for fun. At number 5, the new quarterback Caleb Williams, who you took at number 1, is going to need someone at number 5, and you're going to take Malik Neighbors, LSU's electric, speedy receiver. Hopefully I get more tape on him. I believe I only have 3 games of his tape, and I wasn't actually super overwhelmed with it. I was very underwhelmed. But until I'm proven wrong, I think that I will reevaluate him if and when I get more tape on him. But until then, these are my little things here. Freaky twitch and agility. Comes back to the ball in the right situations. Good effort to maximize every touch. Fluid breaks, turn and run ability. Patient with good vision behind the line of scrimmage, meaning if he gets a jet sweep or something, he's not eager to just find the first opening and go. Anything like that, or on the wide receiver bubble screens, anything around or behind the line of scrimmage. He isn't just looking to gain that yardage back right away. He's looking for the big plays and the blocks to develop. When a DB plays good leverage, he doesn't really play that great. So when he has a bigger DB and he gets inside leverage, Malik never struggles to win back the inside leverage or just finagle his way to still make himself get an advantage at that catch point. He's kind of flimsy for 200 pounds, I said. Slips and falls on 3 different fields with no weather conditions. That was kind of funny. I think his feet just move a lot, and he's always trying to get a little ahead of himself, and then runs more open than he gets open. I don't think he's very savvy in a sense of athletic. So Malik Neighbors, fun player at 5, and hopefully I'm proven wrong here. And like I said, I'm not changing anything. He's still number 5. This is not Romo Dunze, and a few guys actually finished higher, or like I guess ranked higher than I thought they would after watching some tape. So we'll see how it goes on as the draft process goes on. But for me, it's Malik Neighbors at 5 to the Bears. And here we are, and we are going quarterback here. I think I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the New York Giants now, which is a fun little thing to say, because at number 6, I don't think that Jaden Daniels is a top 10 pick, maybe. Now it looks a lot more likely. People are starting to really dive into Jaden Daniels and the hype, and I think that they're really leaving out a few things. I don't think he is this special. To me, he is actually, like, as a prospect, he's probably my 3rd or 4th QB, probably 4th behind Bo Nix. But as like a player, I think I even still have him ranked under Michael Penix, or they are right there, because Jaden Daniels, he does so many things well, but there are still some discrepancies and stuff you don't like. Little slow through his progressions, especially from his 1st to 2nd. Challenges himself when he doesn't have to. Doesn't tend to throw the ball with extended time in the pocket. Tries to play hero ball. Basically, if he has like an open guy underneath and he sees the guy, but he realizes he has the time, he's gonna shoot for an open lane as a runner, and then if a wide receiver presents itself down the field, he's gonna try to just yuck that thing down the field and try to get it to him. So it's not like there's not a whole lot to dislike about him, but the things are kind of worrisome. He always has all day, literally always has all day, which gets, you know, a little sketchy. Has his mind made up latent plays looking downfield. He never really elects back to his lower reads on the field. Never really, it comes back down to earth, I should say. And he takes some bad sacks and hits that could definitely be avoided for his safety. So we'll see how that all pans out, and if people tend to keep just looking at the good in Jaden Daniels, you're obviously going to love the player. I love the player. It's just, you got to be a little realistic. If you guys want to learn more about my analysis and just quarterbacks in this class in general, I have a video on that. It's pretty easy to find. It's just me ranking them my top 5 quarterbacks. So if you guys want to go watch that, go watch that. It's a good video, good breakdown, good fun over there. Now with the Jets at number 7, who do I go here? I go, obviously it's going to be Olu Fashanu. Nobody else really in consideration here. Great pass protector and has developed his run game quite well this last year. Super athletic guy, freaky, and we'll see where he ends up going in the in the NFL draft when the time comes, because yeah, I think it'll be a lot higher than 7. Chargers go Brock Bowers. It's like a Travis Kelce, Justin Herbert type deal. Not really. Brock Bowers is just a prototypical tight end that is very, very good. Maybe not quite the athlete Kyle Pitts was, but I think as an all-around tight end, Brock Bowers is definitely a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. Maybe you're going a little after. I think it was Kyle Pitts going at the number 7 pick, and Brock Bowers, depending on what the draft order looks like then, he could definitely be taken off the board with the teams and the way that this has fallen. I think Brock Bowers goes number 8 to the Chargers. I don't like saying stuff like that where I know what this team will do. I think like what I mean is at 4, if the Commanders miss out on the tackles, say they fall to 6 or 7 or whatever, they might consider Brock Bowers. That sort of nature, instead of saying, oh, the best, like I know what the teams are gonna do. I don't like that at all. I hate when people comment those on these videos. It's terrible. Like actually pisses me off. Anyways, Brock Bowers the pick here. I haven't got to his tape yet, but I've seen him and he is a great player. At number 9 here, I went with Alabama's right tackle, Dallas Turner. This for me probably could be Talise Fuaga. His name's starting to fade, and Dallas Turner still just very solid in a lot of people's eyes. Haven't broken down tackles yet either, so Dallas Turner is the pick for me at number 9. Desperately need offensive line. Interior's been fine for the Titans. Just tackles is where they typically seem to struggle right now. You guys heard me and my high praise for Bo Nix earlier. He's going off the board at number 10. The Oregon quarterback to the Falcons in a top 10 scenario. Super fun and super different, I think, from what a lot of people might have or see at this point in time. Some of you guys probably hate this, but things I think he does well kind of escalates him for me. He can climb up and down the pocket and can scramble. I don't know what scramble is, but scrambling, he can climb up and down the pocket calmly and can also scramble if he needs to. Good on the move, not sprinting, but rolling, meaning like he's good on the move. I'm not meaning on the move by sprinting, like Caleb Williams can literally be just going out to the right and dart it, and it's a complete pass. I'm saying Bo Nix is just very good when he's kind of jogging along and then can make his read, just buy himself some time, basically. Very good deep passes, though they are few and far between. He's not one to throw the ball down the field with that Oregon offense. A lot of it is around the line of scrimmage, which he does really well as well. He leads his receivers pretty great. Bo Nix can also rifle the thing either down the seam to the outside. I saw a lot of it with Troy Franklin. Recently watched Troy Franklin, came out very surprised there. Troy Franklin was pretty fun to watch, and Bo Nix was not scared to launch it down the field every here and there, and he would often deliver an accurate ball. I only had a few knocks, but I haven't watched every single game of Bo Nix. This is like, I think 5 games of tape, but he constantly takes the ball, takes a second, or snaps the ball, takes a second, then rolls right. So he goes, say hike, gets the ball, give it a second, and then rolls right. It happens so often. It's super funny to watch, and it might build a habit. Might be by the scheme, obviously, like that might be designed, but it might just, like I said, turn into a habit. And it was limited in the Oregon offense, doesn't constantly stretch the field like others in this draft. His receivers do a lot for him after the catch, numbers wise. So there's a lot to hit on Bo Nix, but nothing major. Also, ignore the boxes back there. There's like a few. You're not going to be able to see them all, but there's a few back there for Christmas. For me, no thought here. I'm a Packers fan. I've watched the Packers. I'm not a fan of them right now and the way they defend the pass. Give me Nate Wiggins, and hopefully Joe Barry is not the defensive coordinator next year to help these corners out and not trade away Rasul Douglas. Hopefully we don't make any more of those sort of trades where he was kind of the life of the defense, played good ball for us. He was kind of inconsistent coverage, yes, but he made those big plays every here and there that would just have you come up, and the morale was higher with him. And now Nate Wiggins could be the guy and really come in. And yeah, I didn't mean to click that. Number 12, surprising pick at quarterback. I don't think a lot of people would have this, but I'm going going JJ McCarthy. Carson Beck going back to school. Shadur Sanders going back to school, most likely. Quinn Ewers, not a guy for me that would go this high. Spencer Rattler, no. Milroe back to school. Jordan Travis, unfortunately, like literally snapped his leg, so we'll have to see him perhaps in day 3, maybe a Saturday pick. Michael Penix to me isn't that good, and the injury, medical flags, everything like that. But quarterback and corner go at a premium in this mock draft for me. And quarterback JJ McCarthy, went back and watched him. There's no reason this guy should be ranked as low as PFF has him. Sorry, Trevor Sikkema. I know he's the guy that does all this for PFF, and I respect the hell out of Trevor. I really like listening to him and his podcast, NFL Stock Exchange with Connor J. Rogers. But JJ McCarthy from Michigan is going at number 12 for me. I don't know how many people are going to like this, but like I said, premium position, and it goes really high in this mock draft. And you'll see people get pretty desperate for corner down the board, because I personally value that position a lot. I think it's a very, very, very valuable position in today's game. Now, Leatu Latu finds a way off the board. We'll just keep saying this for him every single time. His rush plan and his like hands, everything like that is just all very good. Leatu Latu can really get into a defender's like mind and or body and just get him out of the way, get to the quarterback. Pretty essential for an edge. I don't like breaking down these sort of players, because sometimes I get stuck on my words and I make it worse for myself. So I guess Leatu Latu gets stuck in people's minds. Moving on very quickly from that, Rome Odunze at 14 for the Broncos. Let me get my notes. Now, this is another guy. I had 2 games on him. Like, okay, I know. And he's still actually rated very high for me. He's a physical player with good athleticism to match it. Jump ball, great tracking over his shoulder. Catch and run transition is solid, or sound, not solid, but same thing. Back shoulder is consistent, so like he always reacts to the back shoulder. He can always like adjust to it, and he's great around the line of scrimmage. And I, you know, with the negatives, hard to tell tape, low motor in situations, and 2 game sample sizes of tape. That's it. There's not a whole lot to talk about with Rome Odunze. Definitely didn't get all the notes I'd like on him, and hopefully, like I said, I get more tape on these guys. And if you guys have any way or anyone that has it, let me know. Number 15 to me might come as a surprise for some people. Jerzon Newton to the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, they have Leonard Williams. How much longer? Yeah, they have Jaron Reed. How much longer? Draymond Jones kind of plays up and down that line, whether it's 3 tech. He kind of even plays just inside of the tackle. I don't know where Jerzon Newton would play, either at nose or at a 3-4 end, which is basically like Jaron Reed and what he's done on the other side of Leonard Williams often this year, while Draymond Jones shuffles within the inside of that line. And then you obviously have guys like Boye Mafe, Darrell Taylor, if you dare. He's not really great. He plays a lot off of other players on that defensive line. And then Uchenna Nwosu, when he comes back, will be a good player for them, hopefully, as well. But his contract might also see the end of time soon as well. So yeah, Jerzon Newton for me, fun pick at 15. Number 16, cornerback, needy team, heavy man, and give him Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's very sound, I would say. The only real concern with him is how he's going to test, and I think that as long as he runs like 4.54 is like the only thing that really can't like dent him, because that's kind of where expectations have been set for me, at least. I don't know about the general public. Probably want him to run a 4.4, but I don't know. We'll see how realistic that is come combine time, if he chooses to run. And then this is the best value in the whole draft, in my opinion, Jared Verse. Chop Robinson's dropping. He's gonna drop. It's gonna happen. I'm not a fan of him personally, sorry, and I know a lot of people are falling on him right now. So Jared Verse, big value for the Cardinals at 17. I think I even had him inside the top 10 or at 12 even last mock. So Jared Verse on the come ups right now, really on the go downs, but we really get to say how big and good he is and the best value at this pick. You don't really get that earlier on in the draft when you're like, well, you could go other ways. Looking at the Bills depth chart, got a little rough around the edges, and what I mean is in shell coverage you have edges, and that is like, if you guys don't know what a shell coverage is, everybody. And I was saying, well, you could use another guy, whether it's a safety, because their guys are getting old. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, I'm not even sure if they aren't making as much buzz right now, so I don't know if they're playing as well. They aren't making the big plays, but they are covering well at least. So Cooper DeJean would come in and he could move back to safety. He could play nickel. He could play outside for you. He is the DB of DBs. Fun player. Cooper DeJean can fly around a field, and the Cooper DeJean Iowa DB. Forget this right here, the CB. Who cares? All right, it's DB. Cooper DeJean can play anywhere, and I like that for the Bills. Some Bills fans are gonna actually hate me for this and probably get the heck out of here. Sorry, like Cooper DeJean in this situation. Wait a minute. I took Dallas Turner down here when JC Latham was right here. Okay, well, I looked down, I saw 2 Alabama, I was like, okay, and then I looked at JC Latham. Hold up. Oh my god, this is like the second mock in a row I made a mistake and I have to restart. Now this might be the best of the bunch. This might be the biggest value. I should see Dallas Turner's name go in the top 10, but instead he's going here at number 19. I'm not that high on him, but once I get to edge rushers, I might be. There are people that are very high on him. I was gonna say there's very few people that I hear that are down on him, and there are a lot of people that are very high on him, saying he is edge 1 in this class, which I'm not gonna say, hey, that's baloney. I haven't watched, and I'm not gonna say a whole lot, but I have Leatu Latu at 1, and I probably will, because that's just where my mind is, and that's probably where my stubborn mind will stay. And then we'll probably have Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, and then we go down the board, obviously, with a guy like, Braylon Trice, JT Tuimoloau. Jonah Ellis, I know, is actually pretty good in my eyes. I don't like Chris Braswell as much as other people do. Adisa Isaac, I was on board early. Happy to say that. People are getting very high on him, and rightfully so. He's been a good player, should go inside the top 3 rounds at this point. People are saying that his floor is higher than Chop Robinson's, his teammate at Penn State. We'll see what ultimately ends up happening, what these draft analysts have to say, what the professionals diagnose as the time moves forward, because it only gets more for sure from here on out. And so we'll see what sort of names develop. We'll see who really comes to light. There is someone in this mock draft I have never heard of before, Ennis Rakestraw. So I was like, who the hell is this guy? Went and watched a game of his. I don't watch corner. I don't know what's good and what's bad. He looked fine. I read a draft profile or two. He's nice, feisty. Agility is great. Good athleticism. He's like 6 foot 188, somewhere in that area. Just to let you guys know, he goes in this mock. Surprisingly enough to me, that's what I'm saying. Corner is a little bit at a premium. Also, I wanted to shout this out because of how highly ranked he is. I'm gonna trust Trevor Sikkema. Like I said, respect the hell out of the dude. He puts in a lot of hard work. If he has him at the 28th spot, I'm gonna believe it. All right. I think that there's enough credibility behind all that, and there's literally special teamers in here. That's funny. Anyways, we'll move on. We'll go to number 20. Vikings was kind of a long-winded Dallas Turner pick. Another corner for me, Terrion Arnold. Fun player. He's I would say more electric than Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's a lot more aggressive, crashes down, makes good tackles. He's not scared to put his head in the sand. I guess put his head in between the tackles. Obviously not really the right analogy there. So Terrion Arnold off the board at 20. I'm losing my mind. Rams up next. People like Chop Robinson. I like Braylon Trice. I'm going to go the other way. Someone that could really set the edge. He's a bigger edge. 270 or somewhere around there versus Chop Robinson's very slight 250, 255. Braylon Trice really comes in and helps just heighten that floor of that team, and that's really what they need right now. They need someone that they can't miss on. They need someone that they could really just come in and expect like just constant development, someone that could really I guess develop alongside Byron Young as well. Talking about it right now, Chop Robinson goes off the board. I believe this is the second time I've had it or had him to the Colts. Super high upside player, rusher that can get the job done with some twitch and some burst to him. We'll see where he actually ends up going. Now we get into the fun part of the mock, where we can really have some great fun. All right, I'm gonna put it that way. Let's go Brian Thomas Jr. What do you think of when you think of the Jaguars? Well, yeah, speed, sure. There's like a 4.4 guy in Christian Kirk. I don't think he plays a lot faster than that. And Calvin Ridley, cool. He's a great technician, great guy to go up and get a ball as well. Then you have Brian Thomas, who just brings a 6'3", 6'4". He's got some size on him. He's over like 200 as well, so he's got great athleticism for his size and can fly down a field, just be a deep threat right away. Zay Jones has been a tweener pretty much. He never really had one like dimension of his game where you're like, that's what he's at, like that's where he wins, and that's not really what you see right now with the Jags. He's not really, or I guess the Jags in general really aren't. They're missing a guy like Brian Thomas, I should put it that way. Parker Washington has impressed me. He also has disappointed me at times. He's not been awesome. He hasn't been 100% amazing, through the roof, great player since he's come in and subbed in for Christian Kirk. But Brian Thomas to come in, be a designated deep threat who can develop into a player a lot better than that. Jonah Williams, going to be off contract soon. I'm going to Talise Fuaga, one of my favorite players in this draft, and ends up going just late, just ended up falling. It just happened. I don't know how to tell you. And then we're with the Chiefs now. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do it. Devontae Walker goes off the board. That's your MVS. Like, his ceiling is so much higher than Marcus Valdes-Scantling. He's probably not quite the athlete he is, but man, this guy can run. Size, good reach, always tries his best to get open. While his quarterback, he's improvising. Constant downfield target and recipient for Drake May. Can create after the catch, even in long distances. Good grip while holding or while blocking. Good grip and hold while blocking. Gets chances on end arounds pretty often. Very good long speed to beat defenders deep. Can work the seam and worry about everything except other defenders and getting hit, meaning he could be so zoned in on the ball, that he's not worried about anything behind him, anybody crashing down, anybody waiting to make a hit. He just focused on tracking that ball, and that's what's really, really fun about him, is he's a real go up and get it type of guy as well, that can run. Almost always aware when and where the ball will ultimately end up at the catch point. So if Drake May heaves a bitch, right, he's gonna look up and he's gonna be like, okay, I've got to get to this point, and I'm gonna have to get open by then because the ball is gonna land right here. So like if he goes, he'll have late hands and he'll somehow get the DB to his left and he'll be able to catch it. Devontae Walker is such a fun player with I wouldn't say that there's quite a bit of downside. I think he could really be a Quentin Johnston type of guy if he doesn't really, if he just starts to become a shell of himself and he's not really working with comfortability. That's where I can see problems starting. But Devontae Walker, such a fun player, goes to the Chiefs at 25, standing at like 6'3", 200 pounds. Man's a giant. Now a guy that has flown up boards, I guess, again, is Leonard Taylor. Went and watched, I think, 4 snaps. I turned the tape off and I was like, yep, let's do it. Such a fun player. He kind of controls the middle. He doesn't really get in all the time, but what he does, he like just reaches an arm out and is able to either latch onto the guy and kind of pull back, or he literally just stops all the momentum of the running back and just is able to stop him. So Leonard Taylor's a very fun player, and I'm taking him here at 26. Malik Collins has been unbelievable at times this year. Leonard Taylor would be a nice player to mentor for Malik Collins as he's getting to a little bit of an older age, and Leonard Taylor to develop behind and next to him, as those two would be a very fun duo to watch in the NFL. Now here's the pick for Ennis Rakestraw. I already went over what he does and didn't do well. If you want to go find that, go find that. If you guys are really intrigued, I guess, yeah, I'm curious about Ennis Rakestraw. Like I said, didn't really know much about him, and now I guess I can see him going. I'll try to learn a little bit more about him, see what surfaces after he is ranked pretty high here in this PFF mock draft sim. We'll go right back to that cornerback room, and we will go Kamari Lassiter. Just continues to be the pick for me. I don't know. There's definitely people that I could see going here. I just don't want to take that leap right now between DJ James is really fun, but I'm talking TJ Tampa and Quinion Mitchell mostly. Those two are the only two I could see going in the first round out of the rest of this bunch. And then this is project pick 101. You're taking Amarius Mims. You're flipping him from right tackle, where you just re-signed Austin Jackson, and you're going to flip him over to right or left tackle, where Teron Armstead currently plays. We know how often and unreliable, we know how often Teron Armstead gets hurt and how unreliable he is. So you bring in Amarius Mims to play when he isn't, learning the left tackle spot behind one of the best in the league this last decade in Teron Armstead. I think it's a good pick, but you really do suffer from moving a guy from right side to left. Amarius Mims learned everything on the right side, and you're basically switching. It's like doing something right-handed, and then boom, you get handed with it left after getting used to it on the right. So Amarius Mims, it might not be the same exact sort of deal as relearning with a different hand, but Amarius Mims is going to have to learn, and it'll be a transition for sure. But we've seen him flash greatness at times. He's a big old clay of mold, huge human being, and we'll see how he really translates to the NFL. A lot like Broderick Jones, is there's like the similarities there as well, just to kind of put that in comparisons. Another player for me, Troy freaking Franklin. Watched him. Where's his notes? Okay, I gotta find him real quick because he was a very fun. Found him. He is my wide receiver 2, or he's ranked at 2 right now, which is not gonna stand. I don't think it's gonna stand, but it's just exactly where he came out like and rated, because I had such a chunk of tape on him, so I was able to really get a good feel for it, putting him above other guys that he probably doesn't finish above when all said and done. But for now, he ranks higher than those guys just because I have more tape. So something to remember, he's not actually wide receiver 2. Vertical speed, but listen to this. He can start fast. He can start like really fast, and then he builds more speed, and then it only goes faster, and then as he gets towards the end, he gets faster. So he's a very fast guy, especially when he's running for a distant speed or long speed. He's very good. He's willing as a run blocker, works really well in a stack formation, and knows how to peel off a route very discreetly. Something I loved watching about him, or something I loved watching him for. I don't know, maybe I phrased it right the first time. Troy Franklin, basically you put a receiver in front of him, you put a receiver on the left side of him, and you put him like either in the middle, whatever. So there's these 2 dots, and he'd be the one right there. He would, I guess, run up with him and then like kind of just like discreetly pull off the course and get open immediately and then take it and do whatever it is that he does with it. A lot of his work comes on outside breaking routes, not afraid to lower his shoulder and confront a defender, can win off the line and take off, meaning he can his release is really good, can go and freeze the defender and just run past him, have all the fun in the world with that. Good at discreetly peeling off routes, like I mentioned, can play a little inside / slot receiver, more instant than shifty after the catch, meaning he does a lot of things more instantaneously rather than being a Deebo Samuel where he can make a guy miss in a phone booth. He's more of like a catch and whoop, and then like either move really like 2 feet left, or I guess 3 feet, whatever, move a yard to the left and then run, instead of catching the ball, freezing a defender by putting him in a jukebox. I don't think he's exactly that sort of shifty type. I think he's more of an instant guy and doesn't really take, he's like a split second, like, yeah, he's like a lightning bolt. He's just boop, and then he's there, instead of really being super shifty or agile or elusive after a catch, probably the better way to put it. High motor blocker as well, makes up for it even when he misses initially. So when he misses a block, he goes back to try to finish the job. Good feel in zone, effective on every level of the field, tracks well, so good deep, makes it easier to fake out DBs on deeper curls and in breaking routes, meaning he's so damn good getting up the field, he's so damn good catching the ball when he gets up the field, it scares DBs. In their mind, they're like, this guy can run by me at any time, so you're always going to be cautious of that. You're going to give him a cushion right away, and then you're going to always bet on him going deep. That way, you're not betting on missing a Troy Franklin 70 yards down the field. So these guys really think that when he's going full head of steam, they're like, we gotta prepare to put the jets on. We gotta catch up to this guy, and then he breaks all of a sudden, and then you're already off leverage. The DB has been pushed off. You are there. He has just turned around and has 5-7 yards separation already. Catch and make his decision and try to make you miss. So it gets really scary with Troy Franklin. I didn't even take him here. I was so excited to talk about Troy Franklin. So that's the pick at number 30. Pick for me here at the 31st spot in this draft for the 49ers is going to be Graham Barton. You're like, what the hell are you doing taking a tackle right here? Well, Graham Barton slates to be a better guard, maybe center at the next level. And I think he played, I don't even know what side he plays on. But basically, I think he'd be a good center. A lot of people think that as well. Just projects to be an interior offensive lineman, basically. But I've heard people say he'd be a damn good center. So I'm like, okay, Graham Barton, we'll put him at center. That's kind of where we're lacking. I know John Feliciano, or who is it? Is it actually John? I think so. I think John Feliciano just played center for the Niners or guard, and was just the highest rated in the league this week. So that's just the 49ers scheme. And imagine what you do with Graham Barton here. I saw other people on the board. I was kind of hesitant with it. I don't think I like anybody else. Ladd McConkey is fun, sure. I like the fit, but I just don't know. There's just more. There's a different way you could go, and that for me was Graham Barton. I haven't put him in the first round anyway, so I'm just gonna shout that out to Graham Barton real quick, and then we'll finish this mock draft off with a very memorable one for me. Barely even had to glance over at my pre-done mock to give you guys this. There we go. Can barely fit it into one frame. I guess I can do this one more time. Just zoom out and then go up. There we go. Now you guys can see it. Anyways, Quinion Mitchell was the last pick here. I don't know how much you guys know about him. Toledo kid. He is graded out so well in the PFF system, and a lot of people just seem to like him. His ball production, everything about him seems to be fun qualities. But this is the mock draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels, Olamiwa Fashanu, Olu Fashanu for short, Brock Bowers, JC Latham, Bo Nix, Nate Wiggins, JJ McCarthy, Leatu Latu, Roma Dunze, Jerzon Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jared Verse, Cooper DeJean, Dallas Turner, Terry Arnold, Braylon Trice, Chop Robinson, Brian Thomas Jr., Talise Fawaga, Devontae Walker, Leonard Taylor III, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Kamari Lassiter, Marius Mims. Can't remember if I said Kamari Lassiter or not. Marius Mims, Troy Franklin, Graham Barton, and Quinion Mitchell. That'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like, go down, subscribe, go watch any of the past content on the channel. That'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching again. Deuces!